Once again, my name is Travis Durick. I'm a product manager here at Peplink. So glad you could join us today. It's been a while. It's been a really long time, actually, we've realized, since we've done a business update. And so we want to just take this opportunity to kind of recap things that we've done over the last several months and give you guys some previews of what's coming up. Again, we've got a whole bunch of ground to cover here. But if you're not sure, if you're new to Peplink, not sure what we do exactly, it's really simple. We make it always work, and whatever it is that's important to your customers. And that brings us into a lot of different markets, a lot of different applications, a lot of different environments. And we've got the products and the software to make it work all the time, again, no matter what it is. And so we've got very affordable $2.99 products, and we've got really high-end extreme products that can bring into the $30,000 range. And again, these products all run the same software inside, and so they've all got the same basic elements, the same stability, the same security focus. And so again, whether it's a low-end BR1 Mini or the high-end EPX, we're going to make it always work. So like I said, we have a ton of ground to cover today. So we're going to talk about new devices. We'll talk about software that we've launched over recent months, as well as new software coming out, like our firmware 8.2 that's in release candidate right now. And we'll give you some sneak peeks on some new services that we've got coming out as well. And last but not least, we will cover some of the marketing resources out there available to you folks. Our marketing team has been just completely off the charts this year. I think I speak for everyone. We've seen a just really great improvement in the marketing resources available, and also just the quality of the marketing resources out there. And so we're going to just walk through some of those things that they've been working on as well. So first thing, it's been a while since we last talked. And so what's going on out there? What are we seeing out in the market right now? Obviously, last time we talked, 5G was a big deal, and hey, it still is, right? But it's a lot more of a real deal now, right? We're seeing all the major carriers in the US here, at least, have active 5G deployments. They've all enabled more 5G specific spectrum. And so we're starting to see what the promise of 5G really looks like. It's still not everywhere, but again, that coverage is growing really fast. And again, they're lighting up this new spectrum, so we can really see these multi-hundred and maybe even gigabit speeds out there. Now, along with that great capability, we're also seeing changes in pricing and strategies from the carriers, right? We're seeing business internet plans, fixed wireless plans, and those are getting really, really great adoption from customers. And so we're seeing that just pick up dramatically. And I think a lot of that is really to support remote working and this concept of smaller offices or smaller networks that we're seeing, right? COVID kind of shook the game up quite a bit on everybody, and that's just not going away, right? I've said it several times, and here we are again today, right? A lot of us still work from home every day, and guess what? Our home internet is still not good enough for that a lot of the time. And so again, these new plans, these new technologies, and the things that we're working on are all coming together to make all of those things a lot more easy to do, and again, make it always work. So before we dive into the software and the products, we're going to talk to you about some of the different partnerships that we've been working on. We have gained a ton of great partners over the years, and I think some really valuable partnerships that will allow us to bring you folks into new markets and just allow the Peplink name to be a lot more relevant and aware to people out there in the industry. So first up, we've been working on all kinds of layers with AWS. We have a lot of different partnerships growing with AWS right now. And I think one that's really unique and important to at least some customers out there is our partnership with AWS GovCloud. And so Peplink has a management system in Control too. If you're not familiar with it, it's great, try it. But you know, everybody's got cloud management, it seems like these days. Peplink very much does a better job and has a lot more unique capabilities to our management. But one of the things that I don't think a lot of people realize is we can take that same exact cloud management experience and put that in a private network. And so that's obviously very important for government customers. It's very important for customers with high security postures and just service providers in general as well, like that capability. And so we've extended that capability now to run your own private in Control inside of AWS GovCloud, so that you can check all the security and compliance boxes. You can have complete access and visibility to all of the data. and you don't lose any features. That's the best part is, not only do our competitors not offer a private management option, but even if they do, it's way watered down. So you can have the exact same feature to feature experience in your own private environment. And again, now with AWS GovCloud, you can have that in a compliance friendly environment. And like I said, we've been doing a lot with AWS. And so another one specific to 5G is working with AWS Wavelength. So AWS Wavelength is basically it's really bringing a lot of the promise of 5G down to the local level. And so right now, cloud computing has kind of been a regional type of concept, right? It might be on the East Coast or the West Coast. Meanwhile, you're in Florida or you're in Chicago, and those data centers are hundreds or thousands of miles away. And with distance comes latency. And so when you want to talk about really low latency applications like remote driving, remote surgery, advanced real-time video broadcasting, two-way interactive broadcasting, those things all require the latency to get chopped way down. And so Wavelength is extending that compute footprint out into the major cities of the country and the world, so that you've got high quality compute resources right where your users are, so that you've got, that 10 millisecond or even lower latency between the user and the application. And so we're able to take our Fusion Hub, our bonding software, and put that inside of AWS Wavelength. And so we've done that for some folks in, again, that remote driving industry. And we're working on some other projects for broadcast customers as well to utilize that AWS Wavelength with 5G connectivity out in the field. We've also had a partnership with Ericsson to work on their private 4G and 5G ecosystem. So we've been certified as a partner in their private cellular program. And so again, when we talk about 5G and enterprise, these private networks are a really big deal, right? Extending this type of connectivity to the robotic space in manufacturing and warehouse automation, all kinds of those areas where that private networking is really a requirement. And again, being able to show that interoperability, that compatibility, so that everything works together. And again, it just always works every time. So the private networking is something we're seeing a lot more interest in recent months. And so we very much expect that partnership to grow and flourish into 2022. Kymeta is another recent one. This is an interesting company. They sell us a hybrid satellite and cellular service. And so they have a lot of technology and patents around a flat panel satellite antenna. But again, satellite has its limitations, right? Speeds aren't quite as good, cost is a little bit higher. And so they really saw the need to deliver a hybrid satellite and cellular experience, and they use SpeedFusion to make that completely seamless, so that the user doesn't need to know what they're connected to. They don't have to manage it. They don't have to think about it, right? They just are connected. Anytime they go, anywhere, no matter what, right? Again, just make it always work, please. Make it always work. That's their whole goal for their customers. And so they're serving all kinds of high-end public safety users, maritime users, again, all kinds of different customers that go into far-flung areas where the reach of cellular networks just might not be there. We also had a fun partnership this year with Subaru Motorsports USA. These are another good example. They're going into all kinds of crazy areas, right? These races are not just on pavement. They are in forests in the middle of Minnesota. They're on mountainsides in Vermont. They're all over the country, right? And again, cellular connectivity is generally not a given in these areas, but they've got fans all over the world that want to see this, right? They want access to this activity. They want to see it happening. They want to feel like they're there. And so they just couldn't get a broadcast solution that was working for them. And so we were able to partner with them, and I was able to go out with them into the field, and we were able to get them connected in the middle of a bog in the middle of Minnesota where nobody's cell phone worked. And we had a flawless HD broadcast live from this like really critical stage on the race that everybody wanted to see. And so it was really exciting to just see how we were able to deliver that connectivity to them and keep their fans in the know while it was happening. Telkomsel, this is a managed service provider. They are overseas. Again, we're just seeing partnerships all over the world, right? Peplink is a global brand. So what we're doing in the US is obviously great, but this is way bigger than the US. We're selling 5G solutions into over 70 countries around the world right now. And so we're seeing this activity happen everywhere, right? And so we're able to bring those experiences from different carriers, different partners around the world, and just improve our entire product line because of that broad reach we have. Closer to home for myself is T-Mobile. We've worked a lot with T-Mobile on their 5G products. We've certified, I think we're almost up to 30 products certified on their 5G network right now. And we've been working with them on some promotions for their fixed wireless services. And so we've had some really good traction with T-Mobile and just a really great partnership there. Again, we're getting all kinds of partnerships around the world. So there's just all kinds of new partners and new ideas coming into our ecosystem. So next up, software. We've got a few things to cover. A couple of them are things that we've done in recent months. I know the In Control Android app is something a lot of folks wanted out there. We're going to dive into firmware 8.2.0 first, though. We've got one feature that I think has been really, really well received already. We've had a lot of conversations with customers just in recent weeks, and it's like 80% of them are saying, oh my gosh, I want that feature. How do I get that feature right now? And so out-of-band management is a concept that's kind of a technical term in the industry, but just how do you manage devices at remote networks? And so that's kind of the historical term for what we're talking about here. But Peplink's really bringing a new spin to this. And so we're introducing our version of out-of-band management by using SpeedFusion. So if you look how people have done this in the past, if you've got remote networks spread around the country, the world, you've got devices all over the place, right? You've got routers, switches, firewalls, servers, all kinds of devices in all of these locations. And you could use a VPN to get in there and poke around, but if that primary internet connection fails, your VPN's gone, right? So now you have no eyeballs on what's going on. You can't troubleshoot anything. And so a lot of companies have decided to build out-of-band management networks. So they build a completely separate network from their primary network. And so they bring a different ISP in with a different connection, with a different router, and then they plug all those other equipment's management ports into this new network so that if that primary network goes down, now they've got another way to get in and see, okay, is it my internet connection? Did my router fail? They can drill down and talk to all those devices that they care about. But this is just expensive, right? You've got to build a whole second network. You have to pay for a whole second connection. And I think the really big problem here is none of this investment really benefits the other users, right? It doesn't protect any applications. It just gives the administrators a new way to get into the network. Now, it might help them fix the problem sooner, but again, it doesn't keep anybody online any more than having the one network did. So it's just a lot of money and a lot of expense. And at the end of the day, the user's connectivity isn't any better than it was before. And so we're introducing a new feature called In Touch. And so this is a new capability that allows you to use any Peplink router that has an active In Control or Care Plan subscription on it and utilize the power of SpeedFusion Cloud to reach back into your remote network so that you can talk to any device that's behind that Peplink router and you don't need any extra equipment. And best of all, you get to utilize your two connections, right? If you got two connections, you can use both of those, number one, to protect your users' traffic, but number two, for the administrators to get back in and troubleshoot the network when there's a problem. And so just like that SpeedFusion handoff, you've got this seamless connectivity back into your network to troubleshoot whatever you may need to without any extra effort, any extra equipment, right? It's just all built in, integrated, and it rides that SpeedFusion Cloud global network to keep you connected. So again, really the whole point of In Touch is, number one, there's no infrastructure required, right? You don't have to set up a separate VPN server. You don't have to manage all this other infrastructure. That's a big pain point for people that set these networks up, right? They have to have a team dedicated to actually managing this second set of infrastructure or these VPN servers, all this other stuff. They have to set up, manage, and, oh, by the way, pay for too. And again, none of this protects their primary applications. And so really we see this as a much more modern way to achieve the same goals and benefit everybody and not just the administrators. So we've got firmware 8.2.0. That InTouch feature is part of our 8.2.0 firmware. You can try that in the release candidate right now. That's out on our forum. And then also with 8.2.0 are a few other features. Number one, dynamic weighted bonding. This is something we've been working on for a couple of years. This has been in the background. It's been available to customers if they knew how to kind of activate it. It was kind of hidden in there because, again, it was very actively in development for the last 2 years, but we're ready to unveil and show it off to the world now. And so what dynamic weighted bonding does is it's really a more, I would say, cellular aware protocol for SpeedFusion. So it deals with some of the challenges that people have ran into out there where, you know, if you've got 2 or 3 cellular connections, you just have no idea what each cellular connection's latency or packet loss or jitter is going to be doing from minute to minute, second to second, right? Load on cellular networks changes fast, and so does the performance and underlying metrics of that. And so dynamic weighted bonding is designed to be much more responsive and tolerant to those different changes so that you don't have to be as aligned in terms of the connection speeds and the connection latencies. So you can combine a lot more different link combinations and it will much more dynamically respond to those changes instead of causing some performance degradations like you may have seen in certain situations before. And so I think, you know, the general rule of thumb here is if the current bonding algorithm is working great for you, just stick with that. Don't worry about it. But if you're running into challenges out there, definitely give dynamic weighted bonding a try. And just as always, make sure you match that setting on the other side. If you're using SpeedFusion Cloud, you just set it on the router and you don't have to worry about it. So this is already enabled on SpeedFusion Cloud as well. Another concept that we've got in firmware 8.2 is something we're right now calling SpeedFusion Cloud Home Node, but I think there's probably a better term for this and a lot more use cases for this. And so this is something we're going to just hang out there to the community and help us name this quick before we wrap the final version of 8.2.0. But SpeedFusion Cloud, if you didn't know, we've got a global network of nodes around the world that lets you achieve SpeedFusion bonding, WAN smoothing, all those great protection modes that we've got with one box. So you can just click a few buttons and protect your Zoom, your Teams, just solve your problems with a few clicks and no infrastructure to manage. But every now and then you'll see things like, you know, certain video content is blocked by data centers, or, you know, they want to see an actual end user IP address, not a data center or a cloud provider's IP address. And so SpeedFusion Cloud Home Node, again, all names are welcome for suggestion here, but this lets you use another Peplink router that you may have with that same exact SpeedFusion Cloud experience, so that if you've got a home router and a remote router, you can just send your traffic over to your home internet connection so that, again, you don't get content blocked. We also see folks that are trying to do like VPN tunnels or things like that, where they've got firewall policies that they need to know what IP address their traffic may be coming from. So that's another use case where you can use this new feature to redirect your remote traffic to a known friendly IP address so that your firewall policies are ready to go and allow your traffic in. So again, if you got ideas for the name, suggestions for how this might be used to solve other problems, definitely give us some feedback here. And again, this is available in the 8.2.0 beta right now. Some other features, we've got DNS over HTTPS. For the security-centric folks out there, you can check this out. This has definitely been a popular request for those people that are interested in this. It really is a big deal. It just takes another layer of privacy, or adds another layer of privacy to your traffic, so that ISPs and other people in the middle can't snoop on what you're doing and where you're going. We've also added simultaneous dual radio for Wi-Fi WAN on models that support that with the hardware. So like your MBX customers out there, now you can connect to 2 different Wi-Fi networks at the same time. Other software details to note, again, the In Control Android app. This was requested for years. We do listen, we promise, we do listen. It took us a little while, but we got it done, we did it. Again, we listen, we love the feedback, even if we don't jump right away, we are paying attention. So this one goes out to all the people that begged and hounded us for months and years to get that going. We've also got a new AP1 firmware 3.6.3, fairly small update, but just adding some more security, WPA3 enhanced open security mode, obviously bug fixes and things like that in there as well. So I touched on SpeedFusion Cloud. That was another update. Oops. We've added a lot more nodes. So you can see this has just gotten more and more global. We've added more nodes in the US, outside the US, all over, right? We've got every continent covered. If you've got countries where you've got a lot of users that would like to see a node in there, definitely hit that on the forum, hit that on a support ticket, let us know. SpeedFusion Cloud has just been a huge success, and I think people are really just loving, again, that ease of use, so they can get one Peplink router and make their Teams calls just always work, make their Zoom calls just always work, right? That's the whole point of SpeedFusion Cloud, is just really simple. Anybody can do it, right? We've got all kinds of RV customers, work from home customers that they're able to control how the quality of their meetings go now. And they don't have to have any sort of IT training or any sort of advanced planning to do that. So, new products. So we'll cover some of the products that have launched in recent months, and we'll also show you some of the things that are coming around the corner here. So right now we've got a lot of different 5G products out in the market. This is not all of them, but this is a good snapshot of what we've got. We've got our BR1 Pro 5G, which has been just a huge success. And we've got our MBX Mini, which is just, that's just a powerhouse, right? Just a mobile Swiss Army knife, really, for connectivity. We've got our Balance 310X, EPX, SDX, SDX Pro. These are all used in a lot of different scenarios, be it branch routing or high-end mobile applications. So how can people get onto 5G right now? There's a lot of different paths people can take to get 5G enabled on their network. So we've got a product. If you've got an existing Peplink product and it has a USB port on it, you can use what's called our Max adapter. It's just simply a 5G USB modem. You can also use that modem with a Windows PC as well, or a Linux PC. But again, it's just a USB modem, so you can add a 5G interface to any of those Peplink routers that have that USB port right now. So you don't have to go rip and replace that router. We've just got a nice, simple plug and play USB modem that's going to give you that 5G capability. You're going to want to be on that 8.2.0 firmware, most likely, to make that work, but it's just a native experience, right? You plug it in and you manage the whole thing right from that Peplink router. It's really, really easy. Now we've got our single cellular 5G flagship. This is the BR1 Pro 5G. And so we're seeing people use this as a standalone branch router, a standalone work from home router, so they can plug into their home connection or their office wireline connection, and then augment that with the power of 5G, or they can use it just standalone to connect a remote site, remote store with that 5G connectivity as well. It's got Wi-Fi 6, just state of the art in every aspect. We also see a lot of people plugging these into other vendor firewalls, right? We've got a huge bank in Canada that's rolled out well over 1,000 of these to plug into their Viptela SD-WAN solution. So they're adding 5G before that vendor has any sort of 5G options for them. Again, Peplink moves quick. We don't wait. We've got these devices out there. We've had them out there for a long time. And so a lot of people aren't waiting for 5G. They're going now and they're upgrading whatever vendor router or firewall they've got with these BR1 Pro 5Gs. Now, moving up, we've got that multi-cellular, that MBX Mini. This could be a fixed or a branch location, or a fixed or mobile location. Again, this is a dual 5G solution, and it's got tons of horsepower. So you can drive multi-gigabit throughput on this, and it's also got multiple wired connections. So again, you can use very high-speed landline connections and augment that bandwidth with that multi-5G connectivity. Then that 310 5G, again, it's that same concept, right? Let's use whatever we've got, and then let's get a backup plan in place as well. So the 310 5G has a 4G, 5G, and that wireline capability. And there's models with fiber ports and things like that too, so you can connect up to whatever your office location may have at it to augment that. So I know we've got like a federal court system that's using this to augment their wireline connectivity. And again, it's got that built-in 5G, and it's got a second 4G radio, so you can actually have two simultaneous cellular connections on that device, not just a 5G falling back to 4G, but 5G and 4G at the same time. So if we look at the roadmap here, all those devices that I just talked about and more are already available. Ones that I didn't touch on, the MBX, you've seen that. We showed you the MBX Mini here. And then we've also got just the modular updates for the EPX and the SDX and SDX Pro. But coming soon, we've got a dome, 5G dome. Lots of people asking for that. And again, this isn't, the lines are always a little bit blurry with their products, right? Some people use this as a mobile device, and some people use these to connect fixed locations. So we see a lot of locations where they just can't get good enough wireline connectivity, and so they're plugging multiple of these domes into a fixed router like that EPX or SDX, so that they can get high quality, great signal out on the roof of that building, and then run that into that high speed router so that they've got all the throughput and bonding and software capabilities that they need. We will also create a BR2 Pro. It is the same look and feel of that BR1 Pro, but it'll be obviously a dual radio form factor. A little bit bigger, more Ethernet ports, serial, USB. So just bigger, badder version of that BR1 Pro. So I'm not going to go through all the features and specs of these devices, but this is that BR1 Pro 5G. Again, you can buy this right now. That MBX Mini also available now. The 310X 5G, EPX, SDX, SDX Pro. Now the Transit series, these aren't specifically 5G products, but we've upgraded our Transit products to have more Ethernet ports, a little better terminal block connector on there. And again, that's got the serial port as well on that terminal block. So you've got serial connectivity, you can hardwire the power. Another big thing, not only did we add more Ethernet ports, but we added a PoE output. So you've got a single port where you can run an IP camera, an IP phone, whatever PoE device you may want. You can plug right into that device, power it without any extra equipment. So really cool there. But other than that, it's the same Transit you know and love, right? You got the dual radio connectivity, multi-SIM, same form factor, same size, just a few nice little upgrades. So this is the Transit Core. This version does not have Wi-Fi, so that's one difference from the Transits you've seen out there. But for those that don't need Wi-Fi, again, if you're plugging this into another router or you just don't need Wi-Fi, period, you've got enough Ethernet ports for your devices, the Transit Core will get you connected, again, with no Wi-Fi. But if you do need Wi-Fi, we've got the Transit Pro E. And so basically the same differences that we just talked about, more Ethernet ports, you've got that PoE output, but again, we've got Wi-Fi on this one. So other than that, it's the same Transit you know and love from before. Now the Dome 5G, this is, again, taking that HD1, HD2 Dome into the 5G era. And so it's really not a lot different, right? We've got a 5G modem inside, we've got the built-in antennas, and all you need to do is run a PoE cable up to it. Now, the big difference here, besides the 5Gs, we've got Wi-Fi 6 built into it as well. That's been a really common feature request for the current Dome customers. They want to use it for Wi-Fi WAN, or they want to use it for Wi-Fi AP. And so now we've got Wi-Fi 6 built into this. Again, this is coming soon. So I think probably, I'm not sure exactly, but probably early summer, late spring, we'll start to see this coming out. So not too far away. Again, here's that BR2 Pro, just a little bit bigger, that same new enclosure style that we've got, just a little bit larger. And we'll have a few different combinations of this model as well with different radios. But again, you've got that same Wi-Fi 6, really fast wireline connectivity. You've got dual WAN on the wired side. So you can do a lot of different things with this device. And you've got a USB port, so you could plug in another Peplink Max adapter to add even a third cellular connection to this thing. So there's just so many possibilities with this BR2 Pro. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar, Peplink has been working tirelessly on a brand new line of antennas. And so we've hired a team in-house. We've gone through a couple of years of development here, and now we've got a great antenna product lineup. And so we've got a mobility series, which has already been out in the market for a couple of years. And we've also got these new IoT. I'm on the phone, I can't talk, sorry.
UPS package.
Okay. So we've got the IoT series. We've got, which is a directional antenna. So if you've got a remote location, need long range connectivity, that's an easy drop in. You've got like 10 dBi a gain on that. You're going to be able to reach really far with that. And then we've got our maritime series. These are really focused on that offshore, or just really focused on the low band frequencies in general. They support, it's a completely 5G ready device, but you're going to see unparalleled lower frequency performance, which is really, those are the ones that reach the farthest, right? If you're far offshore, it's those low frequencies that are the only ones you're able to reach. Again, you're still going to get great performance on those higher frequencies as well. So this isn't just a maritime antenna. I've seen people put these on the side of rack cabinets. I've seen people using these out in remote locations where they don't necessarily know what direction the tower is, or they've got multiple carriers connected up to them. So they need that omnidirectional performance compared to that IoT directional one. So again, it's called maritime because it's ruggedized and it's built to last in the nastiest environments like the sea. But again, it's going to be useful in a lot of different scenarios. So here's that maritime, there's two different maritime antennas. These are big, right? That one on the left, that 40G, that's a 4x4 MIMO, 7 dBi gain. It's almost 3 feet tall, right? Be ready for that. If you're ordering that, it is big. But again, it's built to last. It's got really, really rugged mounting equipment, just extremely high quality. And again, it covers all of the 5G bands you want, C-band, low band, all of the frequencies you need. But again, it's going to outperform anybody on that 600, 700, 800 megahertz range. You're going to get further range than anybody else's antenna out there. The IoT series, again, we've got a 10 dBi gain, 2x2 MIMO. Again, this covers all of the 5G spectrum, the low band, the C band, all of those different frequencies that carriers are using for 5G around the world. Again, we've tuned and designed all of these in-house, and so you're going to see better performance than you're going to get with just about any vendor out there, and the price points absolutely better. So you pay less, you get better gain, and they're just high quality, right? We've put the time into these designs, and they're really just shining out in the market right now. We're getting tons of great feedback from people comparing to all kinds of other antennas that they've used. We've also added quite a few devices to our FirstNet portfolio now. We've got 5 more devices that are FirstNet capable. So we've got that HD4 MBX with, I believe, the Cat 18 flavor got certified. Got the HD1 Dome with Cat 18, Max Transit with Cat 18, 310X with Cat 18, and we've got our Balance 20X. So 5 new devices that are able to be activated on FirstNet now. Now we've got a new topic here. This is called SpeedFusion Connect. This is a new service. So what SpeedFusion Connect is we're bringing on-demand LTE data to some of our devices. And so a lot of partners out there are selling, some carriers services, and that's great, right? We're not getting in the way of that. We're creating a new on-demand service that allows basically a connection of convenience. So Peplink has multi-radio devices, right? And a lot of you have your preferred carrier. That's great. You can bring your own SIM, plug that in. But if you roam into areas where they just don't have the best coverage, or maybe you have a location where they're not covering the best, a lot of you don't want to go and get another contract with another carrier and go have to talk to a whole nother sales team to get those couple little areas cleaned up. And so we're offering SpeedFusion Connect as, again, an on-demand service where you can add multi-carrier connectivity. So you can pick any carrier you want, T-Mobile, AT&T, Verizon, and you can activate that service. And it's just a pay for what you use type of form factor. So you're not paying monthly subscriptions and all those things, again, to solve those kind of different locations where you might have a unique challenge. For most people, this probably won't be the right fit for that primary connectivity. And again, that's fine. You can bring your own SIM, you can activate whichever carrier you like. This does not prevent you from using anybody else, but again, it makes it really easy to get connected if you're in an area where whichever provider you're using isn't available. And so we're going to be enabling this over the air. So you can activate this service without any SIM cards, without really doing anything except for signing up for it on these specific devices. So not all of our devices are capable of this yet. So we've got the Max adapter, a couple models there. We've got this new Transit Pro E, the BR1 Pro 5G, our 310X and MBX Mini, and then the larger MBXs as well, whichever HD2, HD4 version of those. So lots of devices that support it right now, but again, this isn't available on, like the BR1 minis or those products yet. We'll see new generations of those that support this capability down the road, but again, just a great new, really flexible option for people. So, like I said, this isn't a monthly subscription type of service. This is a pay for what you use. So similar to SpeedFusion Cloud, we're adding this type of subscription model so that you can pay for a multi-month or a multi-year period. And then you've got a bucket of data to use over that period. So if you spend $100, you've got 10 gigs that you can use over 3 months. And that also includes a bunch of SpeedFusion Cloud data. So, if you're buying this, you might be a home user that want to protect your Zoom or Teams. Okay, well, most of your traffic's going to go through your wired connection, but there's going to be times where you need to use that LTE connection. And so we've got way more data on the SpeedFusion Cloud side than we do on the LTE side, so that you're able to utilize SpeedFusion Cloud alongside this service whenever you need to. So again, you're not paying every month, right? You spend this $100, you got 3 months to use it. And at the end, you can top up or you can just let it expire. If you're just a seasonal user out at a lake cabin, cool, buy that, you're good. Don't have to keep subscribing all year, don't have to go cancel, add contracts, all those things. So last but not least, we will dive into some of the marketing topics we've got. Again, our marketing team has just done an amazing job this year, and it's really fun to show all the different things they've done. So we've really got 4 areas that they're focusing on. So we've got the branch edge, those retail, small office environments, restaurants, those types of stores, convenience stores. We've got the enterprise. Obviously, enterprise is pretty straightforward, but enterprise can get pretty tricky too sometimes, right? Sometimes enterprise isn't just inside those 4 walls. So we've got solutions for, the traditional enterprise scenarios, but again, when people want to extend the enterprise out into the world, we've got all kinds of case studies, application notes showing how enterprises are using these in again, traditional or more unique models. Public connectivity, this could be public government entities, or it could be public transportation, again, healthcare. There's just all kinds of different ways that the public sector is trying to use their devices. So we've got a lot of marketing materials just focusing on the public sector. And again, maritime, this is one of those things, if we can do it here, we can do it anywhere, right? If we can keep these vessels connected, we can keep anything connected. And so there's all kinds of content to just target these more unique scenarios. But again, just because we're over in a ship or a vessel doesn't mean it's not relevant at an ATM or in a kiosk. Again, we've got products and solutions that scale up and down these different pillars. So now, obviously, we're focusing on 5G heavily. So we're creating more and more application notes and use cases for people that are already deploying 5G at large scale and telling their story, how they're using it, why they're using it, what kind of problems they're able to solve with 5G versus 4G. We've also kind of cleaned up the product positioning. So we've kind of migrated the PepWave name out of the mix. It's not a flash change. We're not rebranding every single device, but as new devices come out, you will see more and more they carry the Peplink name versus the PepWave name. And the history is really not that important. We had 2 companies. We had Wi-Fi products and we had wired products, and wired and wireless aren't really, there's really no distinction between the two, right? We're using 5G along with cable connections. And so again, most of the router products now you will see carry that Peplink badge as they get refreshed. And that PepWave name will just slowly migrate to the Wi-Fi only products, the smaller accessory products. But again, call us whatever you want. We're not real fussy about the name. We've just got great products. And so Peplink, PepWave, we're trying to kind of streamline that name, but we're good with either one. So for those of you that are more directly involved in marketing, we've got a new brand book. So we've got all of our different visual elements all laid out, clear, easy for you to digest and reuse in your own materials. We've got a new company profile presentation. So you've got basically source material that you can use and combine with your own materials to help just communicate this message and leverage the great graphics content and that our team has already produced. We've also got a lot of people ask for like 3D renderings if they're doing integration with their products. Our products get put into all kinds of things, tractors, robots, race cars, right? I mean, literally all kinds of different products. And so those people need to know how big this thing is, where it's going to attach. And so we've got these resources available in our partner pavilion. We've also got other graphic elements for you, the logo library there. We've got a giant list of FAQs on our website. We've also set up a lot of how-to guides, software primers. So you've got quick start type of overviews for device setup, in control, all the different systems and features that you may want to just show people how to get started on. We also publish all of our webinars. So if you've registered today, you get an email with the recording. It's also on the forum with the recording. It's on our YouTube channel with the recording. So we've got all kinds of opportunities for you to go back and revisit some of these topics that we've talked about previously. And we got a bunch more webinars planned as well. So we're going to have a maritime webinar at the end of the month here. And I think we'll be doing a voice over IP webinar in March. So we're just going to keep coming with different focuses on each webinar, probably roughly once a month here. Like I said, we've got all these videos on YouTube, not just the webinars, but lots of other videos, like just simple things like the terminal block installation, product overviews, got an overview on SpeedFusion Connect that we just talked to you about. So again, just tons of great video content on that YouTube channel. Go check that out, please. We've also been working with partners to do LinkedIn posts. So if you've got a marketing campaign that you want to work on, reach out to marketing@peplink.com. We're happy to assist with graphical content or just help review the content with you so that you can get a good marketing campaign put out on social media. So I think that covers the topics. I'm going to open up the chat and the Q&A here to just see what people are talking about. Give me just 1 second to review this and I'll try and get you folks some answers. So I see one question about the Cometa solution. I cannot speak to the capabilities of how they've implemented user interfaces and those things. Those are questions you will have to bring up to Cometa. We sell those devices to Cometa, so we are not in any way managing or involved or able to really assist with that software or that user interface. That is their product in our eyes, so that's something you'll have to talk to them about. I see a question about PoE output. I'm guessing this is with respect to the new transit models that we talked about. You do have to supply 48 volts into the device to activate that PoE output, but it's an automatic thing. If you've got the right voltage going into it, it will turn that port on and you'll get a little light indicating that port is ready. If you just use normal 12 volt, it will not enable PoE, but that Ethernet port will work just as a normal Ethernet port. Question on the Dome 5G lightning protection. I know there definitely is some form of lightning protection. I don't remember the exact standard offhand. So that would be a follow-up you'd have to put in either to your reseller or distributor to get more information on that. I'm not sure what the final spec there will be, but see if you request for copies of this deck, we will put the content out on the forum and email as well after the presentation. MSRP on the BR2 Pro, no, we do not have that set yet. So let us know what you think. Let us know what you want, modem combinations you want to see, price points you want to see, and who and what you're trying to target and sell that to. So definitely, like I said, this applies to just about anything. We're always interested in feedback. We always want to understand what's important in the market and what's competitive in the market. And so if you've got thoughts on that pricing for the BR2 Pro or any of these products, give us a shout. Just drop an email to marketing@Peplink or put something in the forum and let us know what you think. See a question on SpeedFusion Connect. How automated would it be in terms of selecting which cell provider? It's got a default kind of pecking order. I can't remember how that works exactly, but it will automatically, if one carrier, the other is not available, it will automatically switch to the other carriers, but you can also manually set the modem in the router's GUI to just stay on one carrier or another. So you can kind of set that manually if you like. Did SpeedFusion Connect require SpeedFusion Cloud? It does not require it. It comes with it, but it's not specifically tied to SpeedFusion Cloud. It's just very likely that you would use the two together. So you don't have to. You can use it without it, definitely. But it comes with data to use on there. So you don't have to do anything else to get access to that. So I see a question about Wi-Fi and roaming. We support all the standard roaming protocols, 802.11 KVR, and so those are all industry standard roaming protocols that are supported on the Wi-Fi products. Any possibility of a directional 4x4 MIMO? Definitely a possibility. I'm not sure if there's one in the works right now. Worst case, you can use 2 of those. But again, if you've got feedback on that, if you've got use cases, or just want a little more detail for us, just again, shoot an email to marketing@peplink, and we'll take a look at that. Okay. Question on InTouch. Does it allow us to access a device's web via web browser? Yes, I probably didn't make that clear enough, but that's exactly what it does. InTouch will let you pull up the web interface of any other device behind the Peplink. So if you want to reach an IP phone, a camera, a DVR, a router, a switch, right? Whatever it may be, you can pull up the web interface. We will also soon support SSH and remote desktop protocol, so we'll be adding more capabilities to InTouch as that feature develops. I see a couple questions on the Balance 20X coming for SpeedFusion Connect. I think that there will be a new hardware revision of the 20X at some point. I don't know. I don't think that's an immediate thing, so I don't. There's definitely no changes coming very quickly on the 20X, but at some point you will see that capability extended there, and I'd say that's one to definitely. I'll have to dig a little bit more on. We'll update the that SpeedFusion Connect information and give more details on if there are other models that get added there. We'll definitely add that into those product pages. Can you explain how you connect SpeedFusion Connect through SpeedFusion Cloud? So you don't have to, right? It's an over-the-air. You don't need a WAN to actually provision SpeedFusion Connect. You can do it completely over the air with no other internet connection on those supported models. So if you've got a BR1 Pro 5G, you purchase that SpeedFusion Connect service and you let it sit there, and it will take that profile over the air. So you don't need any WAN to do it, but you can definitely, again, use it in conjunction with SpeedFusion Cloud to protect applications, but it's not in any way like required to use or dependent on SpeedFusion Cloud. That's all I see in the chat and questions. I know we covered a lot of ground today. Thank you so much.